Good morning. It is a little past 8:30. My watch says 8:31, and I apologize for that slight delay. We were having too much laughter up here, actually.
Sorry, sir.
No need to apologize. Okay, I am calling now to order the City of San Angelo Development Corporation Board meeting on this May 27th, 2015. Let's see. With that, if I could ask Scott Tankersley to open us with prayer.
I got you. If everyone will please bow your heads with me. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for bringing us together to discuss the matters of the city of San Angelo. I pray that you will be with us as we make our decisions. Lord, I thank you for the rain that you've recently blessed our lands with, and be with those who are having a little bit of a challenge down in Central Texas. Be with them, be with their families. I also pray that you will be with our men and women overseas and in harm's way, and bring them home to their families as safe and as soon as possible. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. And with that, Scott, we're going to ask you to step down here to the podium with me.
Yeah. All right. Is this a roast?
No, but we can make it one.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, over there would be good. Well, Scott, I recently was promoted, I suppose, to president, and we want to thank you for having served as the president of the board past, what, year?
2 years.
2 years. 2 years. I lose track of time so easily.
So do I. It's okay.
I think it comes with my own advancing years. But we do appreciate you, and would like to present you with this plaque. Certificate of Recognition. The City of San Angelo Development Corporation hereby recognizes and applauds. Come on, board. Applaud. Scott Tankersley. And it goes on to say other nice things about you. I'm sure they're all truthful.
I'm sure they are. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. One picture. There we go. Cool. Thank y'all.
Well deserved.
Yes, sir.
All kidding aside, we do appreciate the service of every board member, all of our staff, and everyone in the fringes that supports us, coaches us, and even calls us late at night. No, I wasn't referring to staff, Bob. But we have citizens who do pay attention to this board, and I appreciate that truly and from my heart, all kidding aside. Okay, that being said, we are now moving into public comment time. The board takes public comment on all items in the regular agenda. Public input on a regular agenda item will be taken at its appropriate discussion. Public input on an item not on the agenda or consent agenda may be identified and requested for consideration by the board at this time. The board may request an item be placed on the future agenda or the consent agenda item be moved to the regular agenda for public comment. Do we have any public comment today? Okay, there is silence in the room. I take that as a no. We move on to the consent agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda.
Move approval, consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Any discussion by the board? Okay, we have the motion and the second. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes with flying colors. We're already down to the regular agenda. Item number 5, presentation and update on the annual Ports to Plains, Washington, D.C. trip.
Our speaker's not here at the moment, so we're gonna, if you don't mind, we'll postpone that. And I think Nora's next. If we,
Okay.
If you want to look at the next item.
We may be bringing that back if Ms. Farmer arrives. Item number 6, presentation and annual report for the Concho Valley Center of Entrepreneurial, Development, CVCED. You would think I could say that. I just served on that board.
That is correct. It is a
Yes.
tongue twister.
I prefer CVCED.
Yes. Well, if you would please bear with me here as I present this report for you all. What I'm going to do right now is I provided each of you a copy of the 2013 because what I realized was I grabbed the wrong one as we did the packet. So I provided you 2013, a hard copy there in front of you. So I'm just going to kind of go over this right quick. Okay. There we go. So, ordinary income for 2013, CVCD received rental income of $8,939. Total income received was $20,089. Expenses, as you can see on here, the CVCD paid COSA-DC an amount of $20,397. That is their portion of rent that they pay towards COSA-DC. So total expenses came out to $23,533.87. Other expenses that were included in that was a $292.15 and net income under at $3,724. Now, if we'll go over to the balance sheet now, current assets with checking and money marketing, and for those that are not aware of what the money marketing, that is more of their savings for the business plan competition. But total right now at that time of 2013 was $60,331. Accounts receivable, now this is questionable, but I will explain that at the end. It shows here that it is a negative $1,660. Current assets shows 214, and at a total current assets of $58,885,000. Fixed assets, which would be the technology equipment. For those that are not aware, we did have some funds that were used to move that equipment over to the BRC once CVCD was moved over, but those since have been replenished. So total fixed assets shows here at $14,737. Total assets at $74,052. Other liabilities, which would include the business plan competition, total current liabilities at $50,750. The remaining total liability and equity, which would be an over of $74,052. Okay. As of for the year of 2014, this, I feel a little bit more better because this is more of what I've worked on. But ordinary income, your profit and loss was, we did do a reimbursement towards CVCD because we were to reimburse CVCD for the $17,210 of a cost that they had used that we were to reimburse. This was approved back in, I believe that was back in 2013, and I did find that that was approved by this board. Also, miscellaneous income of $400. You may notice that on there. That is a cost that we did where we had to purchase additional panels for the CVCD client because they weren't growing. So total income for 2014 was a total of $45,800. Okay, as of expenses. As of expenses, the most that CVCD spent, as you can see on their program expenses, for the incubator expense was $7,455. That is an amount that they reimbursed COSA-DC for the expenses that were made on their behalf. So total, find that again. I'm sorry, I lost my place here. Total expenses, that doesn't look right.
19,900.
Yes, a total, thank you. Total expenses is $19,933. With a net ordinary income of $25,866. Additional total income of $10.72, which is interest. And, let's see here. And a net other income, which was under, it shows here, of 209, but overall, for that calendar year of 2014, it came out to 25,657. Okay. So now, to explain a little bit about their performance for those 2 years. The Business Factory is to provide the best environment possible to help small business owners achieve success and sustainability, thereby demonstrating a positive impact on San Angelo's economy. During 2013, we assisted 6 companies, and they are Angelo Solutions, Business Excellence Professionals Consulting, which in short we call them BEPC, Earth Partners, MedHab, Blue Collar Health, and Gold Star Medical Business Services. Now, as you'll notice, Gold Star has an asterisk there. They voluntarily graduated themselves in 2013. In 2014, we did have the same businesses, but we did gain, we lost one, but gained a new client. The new business, which was Blue Collar Health, and they voluntarily graduated in 2014, but we gained ProSource Engineering. Annual impact. Now, these numbers here are received by the clients themselves because each client has to report quarterly financials. So in 2013, based on their reporting, we had a 10.3 million annual sales received and 6.8 million annual in payroll. In 2014, they made 10.7 million in annual sales and 7.1 in annual payroll. So in the jobs that were created in 2013, that was 27 jobs, and in 2014, 55 jobs that were created. The successes of our incubator clients. Business Excellence Professional Consulting, BEPC. Owner is Oscar Casillas. He's the president and CEO. He's also the recipient of the Economic Development Award in 2012 and the Small Business Person of the Year for 2013. Oscar and his business will be graduating this July. Another business that we have in the incubator that has also been very successful is Angelo Solutions. The owners are Gabriel Fernandez and Derek McIntyre, and they will also be graduating this year, but they will be voluntarily leaving a little bit earlier, so they will be leaving the end of June. This concludes my presentation, other than I will let you know that on the financials, they do look a little, but we do still have some tweaking to do. I do have the accountant, and she has found some things that we just need to make some changes, but I will be coming back to give you a polished one. So other than that, if you have any questions. Yes, sir.
On the balance sheet, it shows BP competition 09 and 10 for $25,000 each. Tell me about that.
The BREP competition.
Uh-huh.
Actually, if the clients participate in seminars that are actually provided by the Small Business SBDC, if they do attend those, they will get.
Nora, I think he was talking about the business plan competition. Was that your
Yes,
question?
yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, the business plan competition is actually a competition that has not been conducted since 2009. So we have not done that.
Okay.
Is that money appropriated? Is in
Yes,
that
sir.
60,000?
Under money marketing, under the money marketing area.
So there's not 50 of that 60 sitting there. Is it only 25 of the 50 in the 35,000 account?
Is that, which, are you looking on the 2013?
I'm looking
comment?
on the 2013 that you put in front of us.
Yes, yes. Now, let me go to that. Under the money marketing, it shows 35, and the reason it shows that is because 17 of that was used to move the technology over to the BRC, but since then, it has been reimbursed and has been
Okay.
put back into that account.
Okay.
Okay.
Directors, let me see if I can help. Also, our contract states that we provide up to $50,000, and that's the max. So usually you'll see in the budget a $25,000 allocation for the business plan competition. In this year's budget, we don't have that since we're already maxed at $50,000, and until they begin to use that, we decided to not do the allocation in the budget.
Okay. So we're obligated to keep that in reserve.
That's correct, until
Correct.
it's used, because
Correct.
it's allocated for that purpose, and we're going to be talking to the board to see if that is a potential for them. I know we had the last CVCD board meeting, we had some discussion about kickstarting that again, and Dave is bringing back a plan for the next board meeting, and we'll see if that develops.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Nora. Okay, and just for the information of the general public, everything that Nora presented is about business development for small businesses, everything from startups to folks that just need some help. That's why it's called the Incubator. If you've got a baby business out there and are interested in some assistance, either with the wisdom of a very knowledgeable staff and team, we also offer over there basically subsidized rent for startup facilities, office space. Contact the board here or the CVCED board. Since this meeting is being broadcast, that's our little commercial endorsement. Okay. Now, that being said, item number 7, presentation and update on the status of the field studies, survey, and investigations for the completion of the application of Phase 3 of the AEP Quality Site Certification Program. And here we have Roland Pena, KSA Project Manager Molly Waller, and KSA Engineer David Alexander. Welcome.
Board members, just set the premise for this presentation. We've had a substantial amount of work that's been conducted. Very pleased with how we're moving along. We intend to submit the application to AEP's Quality Site Program about the mid part of June. There's a lot of extensive field work and studies that have been performed, and I'm going to let David and Molly talk about that, bring you up to date. I wanted to do that before we submit the application, which should be before the next board meeting, and at the next board meeting we'll provide you another update as to when it was submitted and so forth. With that, I'm going to turn it over to you, David and Molly.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to see you both again.
Well, good. Just want to give an update, some of the findings and the results of what we did during the process. One of the very first things we did was we established a steering committee, which some of you sat in on some of those meetings, to essentially provide the layout for how this parcel will be presented to the AEP. As far as parcel sizes, location of parcels, access, roads, highway frontages, and things like that. The result of the steering committee meetings is depicted on the board to my left. You can see we have lot sizes ranging from 5 to 100 acres. We also did... I'm sorry, it's on the right. I can't see what's in front of me.
You're doing fine.
There we go.
The other left.
You bet. In addition to defining how this area would be subdivided and putting together some possibilities for that, we also brought Bartlett and West on our team to evaluate the feasibility of bringing rail to the site. And it was determined that bringing rail is feasible, and some initial alignments and connections were established. We also laid out one of the requirements for a super site is a 100-acre parcel. So we laid out a location of that 100-acre parcel, and I'll let David talk a little bit more about that.
Good morning. From an engineering perspective, we developed a site plan for the parcel, which is here, the 100-acre parcel, and What we did was we based that upon a distribution center. And so we had to develop a pad for a 750,000 square foot building. And so you can see that on there. We provided rail access and also cargo staging area for the rail, truck access, cargo staging for the truck, and then employee parking. We're trying to finish up the grading plan. It's pretty challenging for this particular site. There's about a 22-foot difference in elevation from one side to the other. So we're working on that because we have to provide a cost estimate to clear, grub, and fill that area. And so that's the perspective on that.
The other big thing that needed to be done towards the beginning was defining, you have to put covenants, your CCNRs, in your Phase 3 submittal. And so we had conversations among staff, myself, and AEP regarding the CCNRs. The determination was made to continue what you currently have for Phase 1, put those within the submittal, and then we have a kind of a disclaimer, a cover letter that says that as the Phase 2 and Phase 3 are developed, the CCNRs will be revisited as needed. We did say that they would not be reduced as far as requirements, so anything that's currently in place would continue, but you may add to it depending on how those last phases are developed. We're also doing a master drainage plan, which David touched on. Do you want to get a little more information on that?
Yeah, just as far as the master drainage plan, in my opinion, it's probably one of the most valuable things that's come out of this particular process. There's an existing condition out there that this master drainage plan will help fix where there's some flooding in one of the businesses. It also provides a roadmap for site designers. They can easily come in and tie into what we've done as far as this master drainage plan. It helps business move faster as far as developing a site, which is something that I think we wanted out of this. And then finally, it reduces the risk of some haphazard drainage design, so you don't get each site designer doing his own thing. It kind of brings it all together in one overall scheme.
It also makes that having that master drainage plan and having the purchasers know that the drainage is taken care of, when they're looking at their 10-acre site in an area like St. Angelo, they know that they're not going to have to dedicate 15% of that site for stormwater retention. So as far as the development of the industrial park as a whole, it's much more marketable when people realize that drainage. So again, kudos to COSA-DC for doing that. Once we defined our master site plan, our covenants, the drainage plan, we did do our inventory for the geotechnical. You've got a great aerial photo of this industrial park. We've got contours for the site, that this is all required as part of the submittal. So great inventory data. As far as environmental goes, unfortunately, the Corps of Engineers is dealing with train derailments and now flooding. I have been told that we will be getting a no permit required letter. There are no jurisdictional areas for wetlands or waters of the U.S. on the site, so it's just waiting for them to put that form letter in the mail for us. Threatened and endangered species, we did do a biological field investigation and found no habitat for any federally listed species, so that was also very good news. And then finally, we are waiting on some coordination from the State Historic Preservation Officer. The entire area was surveyed previously by Herb Euchre and his group. We're just seeing if the ship was going to continue to let us accept that previous survey. They didn't find anything on the site. As Roland indicated, we're packaging that Phase 3 submittal, putting all of this information in the appropriate tabs with an anticipation submittal date of mid-June. So if you have any questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Thank you very much. Y'all have put in a lot of hard work on this, and we truly appreciate it. Okay, we will now move on to item number 8. Consideration of approving the purchase of one license for AutoCAD LT 2016 for use in preparing maps, graphics, and marketing pieces. The total purchase price being $1,039. Mr. Bob Schneeman.
Mr. President, do you have the button in front of you?
Oh.
Just checking. Thank you.
Mr. Tankersley has it.
Got it.
The reason we're bringing this item to the board is we'd like to purchase one license of AutoCAD. They used to call it AutoCAD Lite. It's AutoCAD LT now. And it's to give us the ability to be able to edit some maps and plans and produce scale drawings. In the past, we've had to use paint and some other things. And
Finger paint. Finger paint.
So in order to increase the quality of some of the things that we're putting in front of you, and also be able to do some of the site layouts and that sort of thing that'll come along with the master plan, we'd like to at least get AutoCAD Lite in here so we can do at least the basics of two-dimensional drafting, CAD drafting. And the government price for that is $1,039 per seat. I got this. I thought I had the quote in there, but anyway, I got it from one of their aftermarket suppliers. If you go on the AutoCAD website, it's the same price. So that's the lowest price that they show. So anyway, we're asking that the board approve that purchase.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the board? Yes, sir.
Bob, who's going to be the draftsman?
That would be yours truly.
Okay. All right, that's all I've got.
And yes, I have for years.
All right.
Back in my engineering days, I know AutoCAD put out an excellent product. I'm sure it's only improved
It
from
has.
there. And we would like to see you graduate from Crayola box of 64 to better graphics.
I got the 128 one.
Oh, did you? With the sharpener built in the side? Oh, very good.
Sharpener and
Very good.
everything, man.
Okay. With that, is there any public comment? Then I will call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That carries as well.
Thank you.
Good luck with your new toy. Okay. Item number 9, discussion and consideration of approving draft fiscal year 2015-2016 budget. And again, we welcome Roland Pena.
Good morning, board members. Really, the budget has not changed. We did some small tweaks in the staff services to accommodate the additional benefits. So I was a little off there, but other than that, the budget remains the same. Let me take you to the staff services, if I can find it.
This is all the same as what's in the packet.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And so there's the staff services. I was just a little off in terms of the additional benefits and compensation. Other than that, the budget continues to remain the same as last month. And so it's your option to approve, or if you want to wait. I think the council will begin their discussions, budget discussions, mid-June, if I'm correct. I know I called Morgan up here almost every month, but I believe that's the case.
Hello, Morgan. Welcome.
Good morning, all. Thank you for having me. Just really quickly, in addition to the council discussions, we're also going to convene the staff budget reviews with city manager's office and finance staff June 1st through 15th. And so the budget before you today, if it meets the board's approval, we will start discussions with the committee, the staff budget review at that time as well.
One question, Roland. I'm fine with the budget, doesn't have anything to do with that. If we approve this, and for whatever reason, through the city's process, something would need to be changed or tweaked, and if we approve it today, does that create any, I'm just going to say, administrative hurdles for coming back to us and saying we need to relook at this, don't do that, whatever? So is there a reason not to approve it just from, I'm going to say, an administrative standpoint, to be sure it gets through the process on the city side, and then say in June we give it its final approval? I'm okay either way. That's just a question.
I'm going to take a stab at this, and then maybe yield to see what Morgan has to say. I believe we approve it today, and if we have to come back and do some tweaking, that's not going to be an issue. I think we can do budget amendment, but I can be corrected if need be.
I see a thumbs up from Morgan for the sake of the viewing public.
I'd move approval of the fiscal year 2015-16 budget for the City of San Angelo Development Corporation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by the board? My only input is that this is a good step to give the city council a solid building block for our portion of input to the budget. They aren't looking at a moving target on our part.
Well, I know that we're way ahead, and really this is at your direction. You wanted to get ahead of it this year. We started in early February, and I think that although it's created some additional work for budget and finance, I think in terms of assisting them, I think this is a good thing. I think we'll continue producing the budget early on to provide that assistance to them, and obviously it helps us as well. So,
Well, I have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Then I will call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Another unanimous vote. Thank you very much, Roland.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Morgan. Item number 10 is staff updates. The TWC High Demand Job Training Program grant, the BREP program, and platting 8,998 acres at northwest corner of FM 380 and Gateway Drive in the Industrial Park. I'm sorry, 8.998. I think it's time for a new prescription, and I just got these. My apologies. That's more acreage than we own out there. Okay. Boy, that thing's a gain of value.
So this item before you, this is having to do with the Texas Workforce Commission Job Training Grant. This is a high demand skills training grant that we applied for earlier during the year. And although Mike is not here, he did report back to us that we've received a mid-level approval, and we're awaiting the final approval stage now, so it looks very good. Just to remind everyone, at least from the audience, this is the LVN to RN Bridge program, and we're very excited about that. We've been working with the hospitals and Howard College and ASU, and I can tell you that Mike Buck has done the brunt of the work. He's really worked hard at putting together a good grant. So anyway, we're excited about it, and so that's just a quick update on that item, and then I'm going to turn it over to Bob to talk about his work on the BREP, and then I'll follow him with more on the BREP.
Okay, as the board knows, we've been working on this program since last fall, trying to pull everything together, and we've done a couple of direct mail pieces, and then we're following it up now with cold calling all of the companies on the original list of about 150 manufacturing NAICS codes that we have in the listing that we got from the workforce folks. To date, as of last week, I contacted 30 companies with those manufacturing NAICS codes. And I've either conducted or scheduled 5 on-site interviews with companies. 18 of the companies we've contacted are either not eligible, no longer in business, or not interested in the program. And I'll explain that just a little bit. The not eligibles, we got some NAICS codes. One was for, I believe it was for a tortilla manufacturer. Turns out that they're basically a retail operation. So they're not eligible for half-cent sales tax assistance. Now, they are eligible for some of the other things through the partners if they were interested in doing that. We do have a few companies on the list that are no longer in existence. One burned down 30 years ago, I'm told, so the list is not exactly current. One moved to Lubbock, but they still have a San Angelo phone number, and they did answer the phone. They were also interested in the program, but I didn't think we could do anything with them in Lubbock. So, and then there's about 7 that I'm still waiting for responses on, and I'm trying to do this every Monday afternoon to hit just as many of them as I can. And I'm getting about 15 or 16 calls in each Monday, so we'll kind of work through the list that way. We're also working with 6 local companies in various stages that we've visited with, either as a result of the mailings or through other references that we've gotten or referrals that we've gotten. And those companies are we're doing everything from, and most of it is has more to do with the partners. For example, about 90% of the people we talk to, we wind up referring them to the Small Business Development Center first. And get a business plan in order, and let's talk through this. And as Dave likes to say, sometimes that's as far as it ever even goes. They just like to be able to talk through what it is that they want to do and have a sounding board there, and those folks make a good sounding board. We have another company that is working with them. The only thing that they're doing right now is they're getting some patents registered. And Dave on his staff has a person who is very knowledgeable of patent processing and everything, and so they're working through that first before they move into some of the growth of the companies. We're also working with Dakota Coffee. They were actually our first real BREP effort, and they have submitted their request for payment. They've created a couple of, I think the first 4 positions that we would be incentivizing, and I've gone through and verified those, and we're now going through the process of verifying their capital expenditures. They built a new building, they've bought a lot of equipment, they've got a lot of equipment that's still coming in and being installed, and so it's kind of an organic process right now to get through everything that they're doing before we can cut them a check for that. But we are working with them very closely, and we will continue to do so. Questions on my part of the BREP program?
Bob, are we doing anything on, I know I get asked this a whole lot on, the next codes. A lot of people don't understand what that means, like you were talking about that tortilla manufacturing company, where possibly we can advertise once a quarter to have a workshop just to educate what are eligible, what's not eligible, what the program's about, just to spoon feed the public on what it is that we're trying to accomplish with this program, and that it is geared to the local existing businesses, not for, in the back of their mind, they think that they have to have 10, 20, 30 employees, and I'm a 1-2 person operation, and so there's a lot of misconceptions. Is there anything we can put together just to educate our public to better identify what this BREP program is about?
I think one of the things we'd like to do is run one or two articles in the business section of the paper, kind of explaining the program, explaining the eligibility and that sort of thing. We hadn't done that yet. We've given a couple of public presentations, though, one through the Small Business Development Center, one through, what's the other one we did? We've done a couple.
Costa DC, I'm sorry, Costa University.
Costa University, yeah, that was another one. To explain the program and the eligibility. A lot of companies don't even know that they have a NAICS code when you approach them, let alone know what it should be. So that's something I think maybe we can work with the workforce folks to better define those things. And I don't know where that. I'm not even sure where that NAICS code gets assigned. I think it's something that they kind of pick from a list and say, that kind of sounds like what I do, and they put that down, and that kind of stays with them from there on unless somebody questions it.
I want to follow up with a comment. I think it's a really good idea. It is perhaps the most challenging to explain, because we do it here in talking general terms. We know that there are 16 NAICS codes, but when you look at all those sub-accounts, there's probably hundreds of NAICS codes, so it's difficult to convey that. So we try to do the one-on-one and talk in general terms and ask them to call us. But I like the idea of advertising or putting some information, as you said, spoon-feeding the public. We are trying a different tactic in that we want to reach out to those CFOs or the accountants who handle the finances for those different companies, because they see the value. They're immediately going to see the value in their project, in their growth, and can see how this will benefit them in terms of the bottom line. And so that's another tactic that we are attempting as we move along through the PREP program.
couple of thoughts along that line to really tag along to what Tony was saying. I know the service organizations, the Rotaries, the Kiwanuses, the Lions clubs, they all need, the way they operate, essentially 52 programs a year. I would think that they would welcome a presentation at some point about this, but I think it would also give us an opportunity, if we did that, to not only talk about BREP in a very, I would say, very brief, high-level form, but also to talk about what the Development Corporation has done since it's been around for 16 years now. Total investment, total return on that investment, that sort of thing, to show the public what good their sales tax dollars have done in the community. Just a thought.
And we have done, I've done, I know, one Lions Club presentation, it was last year, I believe it was. We've done the Home Builders Association before, probably do them again, realtors, those kinds of things.
Another thought, I don't know if they still meet regularly. I know they did years ago, but the local CPA society arm, there's your kind of your CFOs, if you will.
Yes.
Plus, not every company has a CFO if they're small, but they probably have an accountant. So
Yeah.
just
Good
a thought
thoughts.
there.
Good idea.
And I just thought about, Phil in the chamber last year had something similar to that. They had the Economic Development, SBDC, for the diversity. And, I mean, their attendance was, over 100 attended, Phil? Yeah, there was a great turnout, and there was a lot of excitement. They wanted to hear what programs were available to grow their business, expand it, and I know that when they had it, I got a lot of feedback from the community, from those that attended, were really interested, on the workforce side, on the small development, business development, and of course our corporation as well. So that was very well done. So
I did have one more slide I wanted to touch on here real quickly, and that is we are working with one local company, to provide assistance in obtaining an SBA 504 loan in conjunction with the Small Business Development Center. They brought in a company that specializes in those loans. Matter of fact, they brought in a couple lenders that specialize in the 504 program, and they've been a big help, and we'll be talking a little more about that in executive session today.
Being an old, broke down, worn out sales guy, I like your cold calls. People don't like to make cold calls, but I like the fact that you're making cold calls. There's things you can stir up when you make cold calls that you cannot do any other way. So I appreciate the fact that you're doing cold calls.
Okay, thank you.
Just to follow up on that comment, Director, one of the things that we're finding out is most of the companies that Bob is talking to, we sort of do a debriefing once a week or so. And most of them are very receptive. Some are aware already of the program. Some of them are not. But I think what's important is that they feel a sense of you care. You cared enough to give us a call. And I think that is creating another unique awareness. So that's been very helpful. It's something that we've been learning as
We've talked about being business friendly. I agree with what you said. I'd call that being business friendly.
Well, this next item, which is an item that the board's been asking about, a business-to-business campaign. So we've lumped it into the BREP program because we believe that that's where it falls. I have met with Stephen McLaughlin, Advertising, and he is currently conducting the research and preparing for the business-to-business campaign. The strategy is to find ways to maximize our dollars using less traditional methods. And he, rather than relying on the mass media, although it doesn't preclude that, but he is trying different avenues so that we go directly. And you may recall the consultant that talked about the airport service marketing and the uniqueness that could be done using technology, whether it's a mobile phone app, if they're looking for information on the mobile phone, if they're researching on the website. He has found a way to be able to target these businesses and help them locate a specific product in San Angelo, and so he's doing some testing right now with another customer. It will include informational ads and videos that we want to look at that'll be online. He will look at specific locations for signage and information distribution. This could be digital video, it could be at the airport, could be perhaps at the permitting office there at City Hall. Obviously, we'll use some traditional methods like bulk mail to businesses, perhaps something with regard to the commercial utility bills. That is an option. But the key is most effective and most cost-effective way for us. He's going to be coming to us, to the board next month, so that he can present a proposal. We have talked about a budget, and I'm hoping that you'll agree with what he presents. But I think we're ready to get this kicked off perhaps in the latter part of July or September. But it's something I know that you've been waiting for patiently, and I think we're about ready to get that kicked off. And hopefully we can have more of those informational ads, and we talk about the NAICS codes and so forth. But the key was being able to have these businesses conduct business in San Angelo with those specific NAICS codes. It'll be a little tricky, but I think in talking with Stephen McLaughlin, we'll do our best to stay within those NAICS codes. But we're excited about that. I think that'll be exciting to see coming out of the coast of DC.
I think that's beneficial. I have been a huge proponent of this, but I think it's hard to quantify, or it is for me, if every business would look to do business with a local business before they, and I understand people are going to try to save money. I understand that. But if they would look to do business locally first before they reached outside the community, that can be an economic boon for our local businesses. To me, that's one thing we should be about. So I applaud your efforts on this, Roland. Thanks for pursuing this.
Well, thank you, but it has been a board direction, and it's going to be a good project for us. So I agree with your comments. Bob's going to talk about that 8.9
8,000 acres.
Sorry about that, guys.
With AutoCAD.
That's right. This was drawn with AutoCAD, by the way.
Good job.
But I didn't do it. Just a quick update with the board. You may recall, I think it was the last meeting or maybe the previous one, the board gave us the go-ahead to plat the property if we needed to. And at the time, we thought that was going to cost us about $10,000, between $5,000 and $10,000. Because of the way things played out and the process that we were able to take advantage of, it's an administrative review of the plat. A lot of the background information was being put together for the site plan. Anyway, we used the same engineer, local engineer, who had put all that work together. So it wound up costing us $2,500 to do the plat. But we do have it submitted. It's in review right now, and the reason we had to kind of put a real priority on this is they would like to break ground the first week or so in June, and we needed to get this out of the way so that's not a stumbling block to them. A lot of companies, especially out-of-town companies, don't understand that the subdivision process here is a fairly simple one. We can get through it pretty quickly. So when they see a plat that's recorded, to them that could be a 6 month to a year process. When it's recorded, they know that they can move ahead. So that was the reason we did this. And I just wanted to update the board on the fact that is in progress right now, and that project is moving along. We should be seeing the closing on that coming up pretty quickly.
Good.
Thank you very much. Thank you both, Roland and Bob.
Thank you. I've just received word from Councilmember Farmer that she will not be here today, so she'll come back to us in July.
That
so
sounds
we
fine.
can move forward with your agenda.
Okay. We will then go into executive session. Executive closed session. Executive session under the provisions of Government Code Title V, Open Government, Ethics Subtitle A, Open Government, Chapter 551. Open Meetings, Subchapter D, Exceptions to Requirements that Meetings be open. Section 551.071-2, to consult with attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter regarding matters related to litigation pertaining to Martifer Hirschfield Energy Systems, LLC, et al., and regarding matters pertaining to the Economic Development Performance Agreement with MedHab, LLC. Section 551.072, to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property located at 2009 West Beauregard, property located at the northwest corner of FM 380 and Gateway Drive, and other industrial park property. Section 551.087, to discuss an offer of financial or other incentive to a company or companies with whom the City of San Angelo Development Corporation is conducting economic development negotiations, in which the City of San Angelo Development Corporation seeks to have, locate, stay, or expand in San Angelo. We are now in executive session. Okay, we are out of executive session. It is 10:19. I'm sorry I did not note the time when we went into executive session. There's nothing to report from the executive session. So I will entertain a motion.
Motion we adjourn.
I have
And
a
the tag
motion.
goes
I have a motion in multiple seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Of course not.